Welcome to the Pageantry PodCast.
And today's very special Pageantry Podcast guest, calling in actually from Florida, Miss America 2023, Grace Stanke. Grace, good morning.
Good morning. It is much sunnier and much warmer here than the weather that I'm used to, but I'm really loving it.
That's why we live here, right in Florida.
Exactly. I mean, you guys have like alligators and there's a lot of things still that I'm still feeling out. I've heard that iguanas sometimes fall out of trees randomly, and that's a new fear I never thought I would have before.
That's when it gets chilly and they fall. And yes, it does. You'll be walking down the sidewalk and one can fall right out of the palm tree. It is fun when that starts happening until they start warming back up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that's crazy to me, but that's okay.
And if you're ready to get into our interview, I'm ready.
Sure thing. I'm all set.
What does the title of Miss America mean to you?
To me, it means an opportunity to give back, an opportunity to serve the people of America and to represent the people of America. As Miss America, I'm able to not only promote women's education, but also support my own social impact initiative by talking about clean energy for a cleaner future. But by doing so, I'm able to represent America on a global level. As Miss America, I'm not limited to just making appearances here in the country, but I'm also able to make appearances worldwide, speaking about energy and our electricity sources.
Since capturing the title, what have the last 2 months been like for you?
Well, very, very busy. I've done, I think, about 20,000 miles of travel now. I just did the math. I just got back from my homecoming, actually. I just finished wrapping it up from being in Wisconsin and very excited to be in warmer weather now. However, it's been filled with a lot of just warm and heartfelt stories. I firmly believe as Miss America, I only have 1 year with this role, and I want to do as much change. I want to impact as much change as I can during this year. But sometimes that change will come in the form of just one conversation with one person. I may not be able to change the entire world, but I can make the one connection that will change their world.
What do you remember most standing center stage waiting for the announcement?
Oh gosh, I remember just being really frustrated because I had a high neck dress and I think just adrenaline and everything was happening. I couldn't breathe very well. That was the biggest struggle in that moment.
And you're only the third woman from Wisconsin to actually capture the title. What's the feeling like?
Correct. It's really special, actually, because not only am I the third woman, but I also was crowned on the 50th anniversary from our first Miss Wisconsin, Terry-Ann Musin, who became Miss America in 1973. So that was really special to have that opportunity. Part of my homecoming, the two former Miss Americas from Wisconsin recorded videos just with words of wisdom. And that was really, really just a heartfelt moment. It's exciting to bring the upper Midwest into the role of Miss America. I think it's been a bit, but it's really exciting to have that opportunity to represent, part of this nation's largest producers of agriculture and a major part of our country.
And you mentioned your homecoming. How exciting was that? I believe there was a proclamation given from the governor.
Yes, I got to meet Governor Evers, and it was great. We talked about nuclear power first, which is, right up my alley. But truly, it was so special because I just felt so much outpouring love from everyone in the state of Wisconsin and from outside of the state of Wisconsin. We had 22 state title holders there, and that was so special to see my fellow state title holders there that I competed with at Miss America back in December. But truly, it's just the conversations that I have, the people that I meet, and the stories that I hear that what make this year and this role so special to me specifically. Because in my mind, I'm still Grace Stanke, but to everyone else, I'm Grace Stanke, Miss America. And sometimes I forget that that's a household name, and I have that opportunity to sit back and listen and let them know their story is heard.
And you also were able to speak in front of the student body at the university.
Yeah, so I didn't do that necessarily at the homecoming, but I have done that in the past. I've done a lot of speeches in front of the engineering freshman class. There is currently talks about me being a commencement speaker, possibly. I don't know if that can be published per se, but that's something that's really crazy. And I've had a lot of really exciting opportunities to represent Miss America at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I'm excited to continue doing so in the future.
And I am jealous because I also understand that you were able to attend some festivities at our recent NFL Super Bowl.
Yes, I was at Taste of NFL, which was so fun. A lot of people there from out of state and from in state, from right there in Phoenix. And as someone who actually I've considered moving to Phoenix after all of this is over, that was a really neat exposure for me to be able to experience that culture and experience the people there.
And you attended the American Heart Association Red Dress Ball, correct?
Correct. That was in New York City, and I was in New York for a day, and we made sure that it was filled to the brim. I started off the morning with an interview with Good Day New York, and then I went into Times Square and had a small photo shoot there, met some of the people there and spoke with them. And pretty much right after that, we went right into the red carpet event. And that was really a moment where I realized, I am Miss America. It was really shocking because I remember sitting there about to walk the red carpet and I look at who's on the red carpet and I go, that's Chriselle Strauss. I'm like, I watch Selling Sunset. It was really shocking to me in that moment, but it's really exciting to have this opportunity to not only be Miss America, but to be a household recognized name for the year.
Let's discuss your social impact statement. Clean energy, cleaner future.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, for sure. As a nuclear engineering student, I find that I've learned a lot about the power industry, and there's some really interesting double standards that don't necessarily exist across all forms of the energy industry. We're at a point where we have the need to move to zero carbon energy production. Now, I want to emphasize that that does not mean getting rid of fossil fuels. That means somehow managing carbon dioxide. That's a molecule that is commonly produced by fossil fuel power plants across the world. And that's leading to rising health risks, rising ocean levels, and ultimately an accelerated rate of climate change. There is a natural rate of climate change, but we are accelerating it with the increased amount of carbon dioxide we're producing. And part of that is how we're generating our electricity. I look at this computer, I look at my phone, I look at everything around us, and there is some form of power in it at this point in time. As we're moving to electric vehicles, great, we're not burning that gas anymore, but we're still plugging it into a wall that is being produced, that electricity is being produced from somewhere. So it's important to know about where your electricity is coming from and how we can continue to promote a safe, reliable energy grid. I find that a lot of zero carbon renewable methods of producing energy might not be the best options for everywhere across the world. For somewhere in Florida, it makes a lot of sense to have solar panels. I fully support it. I think that's a great option to power your home and reduce your utility bill at the end of the month. But in my home state of Wisconsin, we don't see the sun for quite a while. So it's something where it might not work as well. But the one thing about nuclear energy specifically is it's safe, it's effective, and it's reliable. It doesn't depend on the outside environment, and it's zero carbon, which is truly incredible. And if we have that as our baseload source of power, that's going to be able to, shift the world's mindset on our energy production.
As a nuclear engineering student, what is the biggest misconception about nuclear energy?
That it's dangerous. That's one thing that always is so frustrating because I like to talk about, let's compare globally all of nuclear history, in terms of power generation. We're going to remove the weaponry side of it because obviously that's an intention of negative use. But if we look at power generation across the entire world, across all of time, within the nuclear industry, there's only been 3 major disasters. Let's look at just the 15 years here in America of fossil fuels. Let's talk about just the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. There's a significant difference in terms of the safety standards that the nuclear industry is held to, and then the rest of the world is really held to when it comes to safety. I think the East Palestine train incident in Ohio right now is a perfect example of that. People are comparing that to Chernobyl. But we only have had one of those happen ever. And that's something that's truly remarkable about the nuclear industry is that we're prepared, we know, and we've learned from everything. You actually ingest more radiation from eating a banana than you do if you were to live next to a nuclear power plant. Every time you go on a flight, you're receiving a decent amount of radiation every time you're on a plane just because of how high up you're going, in a sense. So it's something that I think is a big misconception, is that nuclear power is dangerous, when in reality, it is one of the safest forms of energy production. And we need to be utilizing that to our potential and our capabilities.
I agree. What have you learned about yourself through competing in pageantry?
Yeah, I've learned I like to choose the hard path, which is something that's really just interesting to me. And this was a realization that truly happened probably in the past 6 months. It was at my send-off leading up to Miss America that I was kind of telling, the story about my life and about how I skipped a grade, how I, really pushed my academics growing up to the point where I graduated high school at 17 with the equivalent of an associate's degree. And the only reason I didn't get that degree is because high school graduation was a month later, and they can't give you a degree until you've graduated high school, right? So that's something that I've come to realize, that I really enjoy challenges, and I enjoy embracing those challenges and trying to create a better world and trailblaze new paths for people to follow, whether that's in academia or as Miss America and a nuclear engineering student.
Tell us about the scholarship opportunities, as Miss America is known as the largest scholarship provider for women in the world. What have you gained from the organization?
As Miss America, I've now earned over $68,000 in scholarships. I believe the final number is 68,950. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check, but I have been involved in this organization both as a teen and as a miss. And those combined years have truly changed my life. Not only did they release some stress in terms of financial obligations when I was pursuing dual enrollment courses in high school, but it's also opened up the opportunity for me to go to grad school now. If I'm being completely honest, prior to Miss America, I had no plans to go to grad school. And now I'm like, okay, I've got an extra $60,000 in scholarships. Maybe I should think about grad school. But that's something that's really on the table, and it's opening up the doors for higher education for me.
As a preliminary talent winner, what originally interested you in the violin?
I wish I had a really great inspirational story. The one thing that's kind of cool is my older god brother. I went to his senior recital and he played like Super Mario on the violin. And I was like, I didn't know you could play modern music on such a classical instrument. But ultimately, when I was choosing what instrument to play in second grade after I quit gymnastics, which by the way, I'm really happy I quit gymnastics, because as a 5'11" woman, it would not have gone well. But I had narrowed down to playing either flute or violin, and I've got one older brother and one older sister. My brother was in band and my sister was in orchestra. Now, of course, as the youngest sibling, I followed my sister and I ended up choosing violin. But it's truly become a major, major part of my life. It was something that truly helped me when my dad was going through cancer, not once, but twice. It was a way for me to cope with my emotions in a healthy manner, as I was comfortable talking about my emotions, or sometimes when I was sad, frustrated, angry, stressed, whatever it might be. My violin was a great opportunity for me to release those emotions in a healthy manner.
This is an exciting time for the Miss America organization. A lot of changes are happening, and some very quickly. What can we expect in the future?
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Miss America, we're bringing back the 4 points of the crown, and we're establishing a health and fitness portion of the competition. And I think that really it kind of brings Miss America back to its roots a little bit, but in more of a modern sense, which is really exciting. So the one thing you can continue to expect is truly more scholarship dollars coming in. We're going to definitely maintain our standing as the world's largest provider of scholarships for women, but also producing great women. The Miss America organization is changing lives, and that has stayed constant and will remain constant, because this is where women have gained professional development skills, incredible networks, posture, learn how to do their makeup, even, just little things like that truly go a long ways. And we're excited to continue emphasizing that and continue making it about the title holders, because that's what we do, is we empower women for a better future.
I concur. And Miss America may now be based through her year of service here in Florida.
Yes, correct. So I'm actually here in Palm Beach right now at the Miss America condo, and it's really special having a home base. I love it because I love to make home cooked meals. I don't do great eating restaurant food all the time, and that's been one of my biggest struggles actually during my time as Miss America so far. So it's really great to come back here. And last night I got in at about midnight. I made myself a good box of mac and cheese, and I'm excited because today I'll make some pesto pasta. So it's really nice. But Miss America is still traveling a lot. She's on the road a lot. I still travel an average of 20,000 miles a month. So while I am excited to have a home base here and have that opportunity to connect in Florida and to be with staff members and things like that and have an office space, ultimately it's not going to be the main location that Miss America will be. It is just a home base. It's a check-in. It's a place to do laundry.
And at 20,000 miles a month, there's got to be a lot of laundry.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not too bad. I guess for me, I should say, I think I'm a pretty good packer when it comes to like really only taking what I need. There's always the joke of people being like, okay, I need to bring 6 extra outfits just in case. I very much so will only bring like 1 extra outfit. Yeah, hey, that's okay. But that's something that I really am happy about because the first trip I did as Miss America that I was gone for a stretch of time, it was only 2 weeks, which isn't a ton of time, but I packed 2 large suitcases and a carry-on. Well, I also have my violin and a backpack, right? And there was just too much. I'm like, I can't do this. So this time I'm gone for a stretch of 6 weeks and I managed to get it down to just 2 suitcases and then the violin in the backpack, which is much easier to handle and manage.
What's your main goal through your year of service for Miss America?
Represent the women who can. That truly is the legacy I want to leave behind as Miss America 2023, is we are the women who can. I have gotten so frustrated and so irritated when I tell people I'm Miss America, or when I tell people I'm a nuclear engineering student, and they immediately put me in this box of, okay, you're just like this person here. There's a certain stereotype that comes with Miss America that we're continuously fighting and continuously trying to change. And I'm still doing that. But there's also a stereotype with being a woman in engineering. Sometimes that assumption comes down to thinking that I just sit in my room and code all day, when in reality, that's not what I'm doing at all. And it's truly so special to be able to represent the women who can do anything that they set their minds to. They can be multi-talented. They can just focus on one thing. They are the women who can. And that's who's in this organization.
Why should a young woman consider the Miss America organization?
Well, scholarship dollars first, that is life-changing. Let me tell you, I am the product of scholarships here. But truly something that is so special about the Miss America organization, besides the professional development skills and the networking and everything that happens there, is the women you meet. I often found myself feeling slightly isolated in high school because I did dual enrollment courses, because I pushed myself to be the best I could be. And sometimes that ostracized myself from the people around me. The thing about the women in the Miss America organization is they're doing the same exact thing. They want to support you. They want to support you no matter where you're at in life, no matter what you're doing, and they want to do it in the best way possible.
Is there anyone that you would like to recognize?
Oh, I would really like to recognize. So my Miss Wisconsin now, it's so crazy to say that. Kylene Spanbauer is the new Miss Wisconsin. And she's someone who was such an unexpected friendship because I've known her for a while. She crowned me when I became Miss Wisconsin's Outstanding Teen back in 2017. And I ended up crowning her now this year as Miss Wisconsin, which was just kind of a funny twist of fate. But she was a friendship that I didn't expect to happen this year. And she's truly become such a special and valued person to me throughout my year as Miss America, whether it's a stressful phone call that I'm like, listen, I just need to vent about this afterwards, or if it's just having a good conversation together and laughing. There's truly so many people as well on the mentor side and the volunteer side that have played a major role in my life. This organization is primarily run by volunteers, especially at the state and local levels. And that is incredible because there is a huge team of people at every state and every local level that just want you to be the best you can be. They want to support you. They want to do everything you can. And sometimes it's overwhelming. Like, I'll fully recognize as Miss Wisconsin, there was one point I was getting my headshots done and I'm like, we need people to leave the room. Like, there is too many people here. But that's good because there's that many people that love you and care for you and want you to succeed. So really recognize that and take that step forward and utilize those resources and those people around you because they want you to succeed.
Any parting thoughts?
Oh, parting thoughts. Well, definitely, Miss America is something that has continued to change my life and continued to be a major part of my life now. Even if I hadn't become Miss America, this is something that it truly would forever be with me and forever be a part of who I am. this has now, it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, wow, I've been involved with Miss America for a third of my life now, which is, my whopping 20 years on this planet. But it's something that has really shaped me to be the woman I am today. I'm a 5'11" person, and growing up, I always towered over my classmates. So when I was sitting there talking with my friends, typically I was hunched over. Miss America taught me to be proud of my height, how to take control of a room, how to emphasize that I am here and I will be listened to. And that's something that is, a skill that I didn't think I would need until I became a woman in STEM, where it's still a struggle against the battle against sexism. But that's something that, the women before me, they remove boulders. Hopefully I'm removing rocks, and my daughters will only have to remove pebbles when they pursue that career. So really just Miss America is trailblazers, and I'm excited to be a part of them.
I agree. And once again, I want to extend our congratulations from my whole team here at Pageantry on your win at Miss America. I know you have an exciting year. I know Ms. Robin Fleming, the new CEO, has a lot of plans, a lot of excitement for the organization coming up. And if you need anything, I'm always here to help out, answer questions, and interview her in a little bit in the future. But again, congratulations once again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Carl.
And today's very special guest has been Miss America 2023, Grace Stanke. Grace, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl.